You know what? The more I think about it, the more that I try to internalize just how everything is going on with the Vancouver Canucks this season, the more I actually start to believe. And I'll admit, this commentary, it sounds optimistic. The title is optimistic. Even the thumbnail has the word perfection in it. Because the way things are going with the Vancouver Canucks, if you're on team rebuild, you're on team tank, if you think that the best situational timeline of events for the Vancouver Canucks to go down over the next few months is to be bad, then this actually might be a really good thing. You see, I wanted to give a big shout out to Vancouver Canucks head coach Adam Foote, whom we are going to start appointing as the Vancouver Canucks' newest tank commander. Oh yeah, baby, that's a string of words that we haven't heard in years. It's been years since Matt Bartkowski was the Canucks tank commander. Probably unknowingly and against his will, because Canucks fans just kind of tossed that name onto him because he wasn't that great. But now, I think it'd be fair to say that Adam Foote is the new tank commander, hence the title, hence the thumbnail, and hence what is said on this post on the R Canucks subreddit. Let's go out there and read this post by Nin Cross. It's a pretty long one, but it's so illuminating to me that I thought we had to dive into it. Having Adam Foote be the Vancouver Canucks tank commander coach for this season is a blessing for the Vancouver Canucks. What in the world does that mean? Tank commander coach? Nah. This ain't Willie Desjardins. What are you talking about, tank commander coach? Well, Nincross says here in the piece, he may arguably be the worst NHL coach right now in the league. Never mind the ridiculous Russian cashews and smoking comments, and how he doesn't trust analytics. He will be memed for that for the rest of his coaching career. But you look at Adam Foote's systems and the games where the Canucks do win, he's propped up by otherworldly goaltending while being massively outshot. Instead of holding his players accountable in the media, he routinely backs them and blames injuries as a reason for losses. The people who were saying that he was a bad hire on day one were indeed right, and many of them were also the ones who correctly anticipated Kane's impact on the team, which has also been abysmal. Bottom line, we need to keep Foote for the ethical, unintentional tank for the entirety of this season, and having yet another coaching change would only introduce the possibility of the quote-unquote new coach bump that can rocket the Vancouver Canucks to the middle of the standings. That can't happen again, and not in this year's draft. And you know what? That might absolutely be the right way to view the Vancouver Canucks this season. Because I think it's been a big enough sample. You know, we're a quarter of the way through the year. Say what you want about the injuries. Say what you want about no Hedel, no Höglander, no Bluger, no Demko, no Lekaramaki, no Mancini. Kevin Lankinen took a leave of absence. Say what you want about the guys who have not been in the lineup. But based off of what we have seen out of the Vancouver Canucks in 25-26, based off of the players that have played games, and the guys who have not been absent, this team was never a healthy Filipino, or a healthy Höglander, or a healthy Demko, or even a healthy all three of those guys away from being a contender. We all kind of recognize that this entire season was built on the idea of hope being the main strategy here. Oh yeah, just hope that Pettersson can come back, and hope that Hedel can show off the skills that he's got for 82 games, and hope that Höglander can get back, and hope that the defense can continue to be good, and hope that Demko can stay healthy, and hope, and hope, and hope, and hope, and hope, and everything was all hope. Now we're just kind of realizing that not everybody can be the best versions of themselves all the damn time. And then you add the injuries on top of that. It was never going to work for Vancouver with this plan. But even though that may be the case, Adam Foote is not going to back down, and he is not going to throw his players under the bus. And we see this in his interviews, we see this in the way he conducts himself. Adam Foote was a legendary defenseman when he played. Like, he was so good. Stanley Cup championship caliber D-man, he was awesome. But the biggest thing about Adam Foote compared to Rick Tocchet is that Foote doesn't really take any opportunities to talk any smack about his guys. Not saying that Tocchet did that necessarily, but there was a lot of, oh yeah, for Elias Pettersson, we gotta do this, we gotta do that, we gotta put him through a routine, we gotta get him going, we gotta set him up with this stuff, we gotta do all these micro-analyzing bits to try to change him and reprogram the way he thinks the game. It's not, like, derogatory against his player, but it's all coming from the perspective that he is not good enough, and that he needs to change something in order to get to this point where he can be good enough. Adam Foote doesn't do any of that. He's like, no, we believe in him, he's good. We're just unlucky. Our guys are hurt. That's the reason we're losing games. We're hurt. And you can debate whether or not it's pure ignorance or it's just a front for any real feelings that Foote may have about his hockey team. But at the end of the day, it is what he says. That is the quote that he gives to the media. And those types of quotes are a lot less damaging to a team culture, to a team locker room, than whatever it is you could see out of other coaches who take shots at their own players. I mean, it's a positive environment, at least. That's what Elias Pettersson thrives off the most. The only problem is the Canucks just aren't talented enough to be good. And so even though it may cost Quinn Hughes his desire to stay with the Canucks, if this was going to be the plan, to not bolster up the team with the second-line center that it needs, try as they might, they didn't get it done. That's the plain old truth about it. The Vancouver Canucks could not get the center they needed, and that was just one of many pieces you can say were keeping this team away from being a cup-contending team. Because Adam Foote is the coach and his systems are so bad and they don't really have that strong of a team on paper anyway, is this not the perfect team tank situation? Because it's like, all right, well, you don't want to see the team tank, you don't want to see the team intentionally lose, you'll never convince pro NHL level players to intentionally lose. That's not what we refer to by tanking. Tanking is more like, hey, the GM puts his team in a less likely situation to win by trading away good players, getting young assets, getting draft picks that are not going to help the team in the now, but they will in the future. And as a result, the team's overall record takes a hit, and they climb up the draft rankings, and they get a better player because of it. That's tanking. That's the way you can see it from a managerial point of view. We know the Patrick Allvin and Jim Rutherfords of the world are probably not going to be so inclined to doing just that with this team, with this path that they've been set on. But with this coach and with the guys that are already here, it's like, even if it may not be intentional, the Canucks are still losing anyway. And it's not like the locker room environment is as bad as it was last year. It seems like, just based off of what we were seeing with the interviews, guys are happy to be in Vancouver. The coaching staff is happy to be with these guys. They just felt like they got dealt a tough hand with injuries. Whether or not that's true to the extent that they might believe that it is completely separate. Because at the end of the day, if Vancouver ends off this season in the middle, they get 15th overall, then that's kind of a wasted year when you think about just how poorly they have been so far. If they get a new coach and they get a coaching bump and they win all these games, then okay, maybe that's not the right way to handle this team's progression this season. They're already so bad. This is a good draft. Why wouldn't it be a proper decision to stick around near the bottom? And unintentionally, by having Adam Foote as the guy, you probably will have a team that does that. So you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this Adam Foote tank commander Canucks situation that we've got going on here. Do you think it's actually a realistic thought to have about this team, or is it really just trying to string together narratives and coping, just trying to feel better because Canucks fans don't really get anything good these days? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Vancouver Canucks in this Reddit post, which will be linked in the description. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.